Okay, so this is a commission collab. I was commissioned to do the jointing as well as hands and feet on DXgirly's base sculpt. So, her account names are DXgirly Likes BJDs. She has a YouTube. She hasn't uploaded it for a while, but she does have quite a bit of a backlog that you can check out. Lots of great unboxings if you love unboxings. And then she posts very regularly on Instagram and a little bit on TikTok as well. And she had been playing around with Nomad Sculpt. On her own, she had sculpted the doll you see here, whose name is Bay. And I was tasked with doing jointing and feet. And then the head cap as well. So here's part of the mock-up. I didn't record the first half of the mock-up because it didn't even process in my brain that I should have done it. Now, of course, I realize that I probably should have. But I'm going to kind of lay out some of the kind of speed sculpts of my commission for her. So this is going to be the first hand. I already sculpted the thigh joint and the elbow joint before I started recording. Since I started kind of like I sculpted them and then I was like, oh no, I should record this. And then of course she told me oh yeah, you have to record this. So now I'm making sure to record everything. Here's pictures on my bed. Because I needed reference. Since base sculpt is plus size, and I was like, okay, whatever, I'm plus size too. I'm just gonna use my own hand. So we'll get the same kind of shape. So this is the closed hand. So the reference for this one was kind of closed, but then one finger is kind of out a little bit compared to the other ones. So that's really what we're aiming for this one. I also found out how to use lighting on here. So that's why you see the clay being such cool colors. It's really fun. I might have already uploaded my video on how to do lighting on Nomad Sculpt. But if not, then that'll come soon. And if I have, then go check it out. But what I really found fun is that I'm putting fingernails on here. There's another hand for one of my sculpts that I did put fingernails on. And I did it the hard and stupid way, which was to actually physically sculpt the nail on. When really I should have just did this process that I'm using here. Which is just getting a primitive sphere and then kind of shaping it to a nail. Flattening it and all that. And then just kind of shaping it from there. So here we did one individual hand, and then we just copy and pasted it, and we kind of just adjusted it from there. And then here we have working on the palm, getting all the creases and whatnot. And then the thumb. So same thumb process as every other thumb I've sculpted, every other hand I've sculpted on these paintings and speed whatever everything. No real changes to it at all, just kind of it's a thumb. Same thing, same process, putting the nail on. Doing all these extra details on the finger would be a great idea to do on a separate layer. I don't know why I didn't, probably just because I'm an idiot. So here we have voxel merging it onto the rest of the hand, adding additional details and whatnot. For this sculpt, the hands are going to be magnetic with the wrist joints, but the rest of the joints, oh, not the rest of the joints, what do I mean? The ankle joints, they will not be magnetic. So here's a great way to kind of adjust everything once you blend it on. You can see I split the hand in half, but I didn't move it so that I can just kind of make it invisible, go in there, edit it, and then voxel merge them back together. And that way, like, you don't even notice. And then here we have the new special lighting. Like, ooh, isn't that so cool? I already forgot what I was talking about. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so, oh, I was talking about the joints. So yeah, so this is the process for making the magnetic wrist joint. I've already shown this process, in further detail on a separate video. I do have a separate video for how to do hands and magnetic joints already as is, so I don't really have to explain anything here. You can just kind of watch what I'm doing, and if you want any like additional details or even like how to do a flatter hand, I already have that on its own video. And then even for my other doll sculpting thing, I have 2 videos that have sculpting hands. So, like, either of those are fine. You can watch those. And then here we have doing the magnetic area where the magnets would go. I do think it's kind of shallow on this hand, though. So I might go back and actually fix that a little bit more, make it deeper. I, of course, don't know what size magnet goes in this hand yet, since it's not printed. But once it's printed, it'll be really fun to actually go check. And here we have me just exporting all the renders for this little project so I can upload them. If you don't know how to export a render, if you just go in the same file that you use to like save and open files and do new files, if you just keep scrolling down, eventually you'll find a little render section. And you just click on that. You can put transparent backgrounds, all of that. And that's basically how you render. You can pick how detailed your render is and all that. I usually just do like 1080p. And that's how I get all of this. And then I sculpt in perspective view. But here is like 2 pictures in orthographic view. You should be switching between the two like every once in a while, just to make sure that your sculpt does look you know, appropriate for both views, since you never know if one of them warps it or not. And then here we have the second hand. So this hand is acting as a freebie. I was commissioned to do 1 pair of feet, 2 pairs of hands, and then the jointing like I just said. But this was going to be the resting hand, and it's too closed. So this is going to be the freebie hand that I did for free. Maybe I'll keep it for myself. Maybe I'll just give it to her for free. Like, I don't know yet. If I were to keep it to myself, I would have to redo all the jointing. I don't want to have to, like... I don't want to... you know, use something for personal use when it's not for my personal use. This isn't for my doll. This is for her doll. This is a commission. So, if I do keep it, I would redo that jointing completely. But I think the best thing would just be to, like, give it away, probably, since it already fits her hands so perfectly that I'm doing. Like, it's the exact same thumb, it's the exact same jointing. Most of the palm is still the same. I was actually boiling eggs while I was sculpting this part of the video. So there's, like, some freezes, like, quote unquote, but it's not actually frozen, it's just me doing stuff. And the video is also sideways. Sometimes I flip my iPad the hot dog way instead of hamburger, which is why sometimes I don't upload stuff, because a lot of it gets cut out, and it's like, well, what was the point in me doing it if it's just gonna get cut off? So then I just don't. I'll just like delete it, and it's such a waste when I could just, I guess, do this when I can just have it sideways. But I guess for art it would be no point, like at least for sculpting you can kind of get away with it, I guess. But yeah, we can see that I kind of decided that this finger doesn't really work with the finger I was originally sculpting it as. So we're doing it as the other 3 fingers, and we are adjusting, kind of getting them to the correct size, realizing I made them too big and making them smaller. And then here is the actual final finger. Redoing that entire finger, but just as its own. Getting it ready. Ooh, that was my bone. This is my bone just cracking. I've been trying to crack my back for like a week, and it won't crack. So I guess I need to like look up how to crack my back in more efficient ways. I've just been doing the one where you like, you know, you like use the chair. Nothing's happening, so very frustrating. But once again, I was making, at this point I was like taking my eggs out. So doing nails, waiting for my eggs to cool down, sculpting the bed of the nail and all of that. I am doing kind of more square shaped nails, but I'd love to do other nails. I don't really do anything on my nails. I bite them like a little feral creature. But I do really like nails themselves, so I don't know. Maybe if I ever get an SLA printer or like, you know, a resin printer, I would do really fun custom nails because the printer would be able to print at that level of detail. But currently I just have the filament printer, and it's just not capable of doing that kind of detail, so I just don't see a point right now. I am also putting up one Magical Girl staff on Thingiverse. Since one of my girls, I needed a magical wand for her. She's a magical girl. But I tried to sculpt a rose and I couldn't, I gave up. So I just found a rose on Thingiverse that allowed for me to remix and use for personal use. So I did that. I remixed the flower and I put it on the staff. And now I'm going to put it back on Thingiverse for other people to use for personal use. Because of course it's for personal use and remixes only, so I can't really do anything else with it. And then finally here are the renders. That's what I really like about like Thingiverse though. Like there's so much opportunity for you to remix, and there's just so much open source files, especially for BJDs. And yeah, that's part 1. There's gonna be a lot more parts. I gotta finish the sculpting. I gotta cut out the bodies. I don't know, maybe I'll be able to print this and test out the jointing myself, because I'm gonna have to edit joints eventually, you know? But yeah, look, I made this like new little end card. I used to have another one like way back in the day, years and years ago, but I don't like it anymore. So here's the new one. Here's all my usernames on all my social media and whatnot. And bye!